Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back. So let's talk about The Conjuring 3, or I guess The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. This is obviously going to contain spoilers for the movie just because, what else am I going to talk about? I don't really want to talk about this movie in a non-spoiler fashion. So The Conjuring 3 was directed by Michael Chaves, I believe. I know he directed The Curse of La Llorona, or however you say that. Maybe I'll do a review on that movie sometime soon. I like doing movie reviews that are just like shorter. Unless you guys want me to do longer ones, like 10 minutes, talking about the plot in detail, my thoughts on everything. As of now, I really want to do like 3 to 5 minute movie reviews of just movies that I'm watching, just kind of in general right now, because it's a lot of fun to talk about. It's something different, and it's something that I've always wanted to do, but they don't really get a lot of views on the channel, and so to put a lot of time and effort into them takes up a lot of my time and would take away from doing my other videos, and so I don't really want to do that. Keeping them short is awesome, but if you guys really do want longer videos, I totally would do that. Now, this movie obviously follows Ed and Lorraine Warren, and it's one of their most craziest cases ever. And it has to do with this guy who was discovered on this road. He's completely covered with blood. He's accused of murder, and then they have to go look into this whole thing. Like, did he actually kill this person? And he's claiming that he was possessed by a demon. And so that I actually found interesting because that's actually a true story. This actually happened. This person, I don't know what his name is. I knew the name because I was looking into it. It was like Arnie Johnson or something like that. He actually claimed that as a defense, and his lawyer actually believed it too. Actually looking into the proof and stuff, actually believed that he was possessed in that moment. But obviously the judge was like, we're going to look so stupid talking about this, so I'm just going to ignore that. We're not taking that into consideration. So they just kind of ignored it. But the movie does kind of ignore that part of it. They do add this whole other side to the story with this other woman who I guess does a very similar thing to what Lorraine Warren does. I do want to say that I actually did enjoy this movie over number 2. I've been seeing some negative reviews of this movie, but I honestly just enjoyed the movie. It was a nice movie. Conjuring 1 I loved so much, and I'll have to do a review of that movie. Like Conjuring and Insidious, they're both James Wan films, right? They were just absolutely amazing to me. They're still one of my favorite like horror movies just of all time. I love those movies so much. The Conjuring a lot more because I love the tone of I guess the 70s, and that old house felt very like Amityville horror like, right? And Conjuring 3 I think has very similar tones. It's a very simple story. It very much focuses on the investigative part, and you do have this whole occultist side. There's this woman who's obsessed with like demons and etc., and she's at this altar. She's the one who's possessing Arnie and stuff, and you do have that side to it, but there's no ridiculous moments like in Conjuring 2. In Conjuring 2, I did enjoy the movie for the most part. Most of that movie is good. It's just the second half towards the end as well is where it gets really stupid, and it's a lot of like action scenes. I hate that cringy action stuff where one of those demon things, or like the nun will like run at you kind of thing, and it's so fast. And when that tree stump or whatever came out of the ground and it looked like Ed was going to fall in it, it was just so, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it, but Conjuring 3 I think is better than 2. Number 1 is still my favorite. Now, not only is this movie very much obviously a demonic exorcism story, it's also a love story between Ed and Lorraine Warren. It really does go more into their past and I guess their personal lives. It really goes into those characters a lot. You see that they actually go into a lot of Ed Warren's health issues, and I'm guessing that happened in real life. I don't know if he had a heart attack specifically because of that demon said that. I don't know if that's actually real. I haven't looked into it, but if so, that's pretty nuts. I don't know if I believe it or not, but that's still pretty crazy. The scares in this movie, there's not a lot of scares, but overall, the general tone of the movie, I really enjoyed. I was happy that there wasn't a lot of jump scares. There still are those cheesy jump scares that The Conjuring and all those movies do, where the music and everything gets very, very quiet, and then they have that jump scare. I hate those. I really do. I know some people do enjoy them, and so this movie you'll probably like this movie a lot more than I did. I still really like the movie, but I'm thinking you're gonna like it a lot more. I just like the tone that it had in general, and some of those scares were cheesy, sure, but sometimes it was cool to just hang out with like Arnie Johnson, especially in the beginning scene there, where it was like him and his roommate and stuff, and they were partying and he was freaking out. Like, now the movie definitely goes into a lot of witchcraft stuff because I think his name was Drew, gives that book or whatever to Ed, and then at the end of the movie they do destroy that altar, which I guess everything ends up going back to normal. in the end, we do see that room of artifacts. We see the nun painting and the Annabelle doll and stuff. And I mean, overall, the movie, I think, has a very great Exorcist-like tone. Kind of reminds me of Exorcism of Emily Rose, because there's this whole legal aspect to it, but not as much scares, not as much jump scares. You still have those moments, but overall, I think if you liked The Conjuring 1, you're going to enjoy this for sure. Especially if you liked Conjuring 2. Like, if you really liked Conjuring 2, you are going to like Conjuring 3. So that's definitely a recommend from me. So I'll leave it here. If you've watched it, obviously post your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.